Let's try the same thing with the Mixolydian mode. We're still in the key of A Mixolydian. The following track is built using that Mixolydian scale. That was the canvas from which we extracted notes, and I made sure to include in the backing track the characteristic notes that make it Mixolydian. And we're going to use our order to extract 3 major pentatonic scales. Major because Mixolydian is part of the major scale family. It has a major third. The first one, simple. We're in A Mixolydian, A major pentatonic. So that's our first major pentatonic we'll use. The next one, we need to follow the order. So Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, Ionian. Ionian is one of those major scales, major modes, and that happens to be a D. So we can use a D major pentatonic here. We'll continue the order. Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, and Lydian. Lydian right here is a G, and that is also a major mode, so we can use a G major pentatonic here. 3 major pentatonic scales. We can do the jumpy approach, which is using the same position and jumping around those roots, or the focused approach. If we use the jumpy approach, we have a root on the 5th fret, which is A. We also have a root on the 10th fret for D, and we have a root on the 3rd fret for G. So let's give that a try. We'll do the jumpy approach first. Here's the first position of D major pentatonic. Different intervals are brought out here. And then the first position of G major pentatonic. All together. Now let's try to find these 3 different positions in the same area of the fretboard. We'll use this one as a starting point, the one that's determined by the first position of A major pentatonic between frets 5 and 8. That's for our first position of A major pentatonic. We'll now find the position that corresponds to the Lydian mode, because Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, and Ionian. Ionian is the D note right here. Do we have a D in this area of the fretboard? Yes, we do. That's on the 5th string, 5th fret. Which position will correspond to that particular position? That would be position number 4, and a 4th position of D major pentatonic scale is this one right here. Starting on the 6th string, we have frets 5, 7, 5, 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, 5, 7, and 5, 7. That's for the pentatonic scale corresponding to the D Ionian. And last but not least, the one corresponding to the G Lydian. We need to find a G in that zone of the fretboard. We have one right here on the 4th string, 5th fret. And that scale right here, that corresponds to the G major pentatonic, is the one corresponding to the 2nd position of G major pentatonic. Here it is. Starting on the 6th string, we have frets 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 4, 7, 5, 8, and 5, 7. I'm going to improvise a little bit using these 3 different positions. Again, we're only playing in A Mixolydian, but using different pentatonic scales corresponding to the relative major modes will bring out different intervals, which is very useful when you're playing music. So let's give that a try. We'll start with the first position of A, which is the most stable one. We'll actually come back to that quite a bit. But we're going to do a little passage here in D major. And back to A. Little G. Back to A. Little D. And A. And combining all that together, And that concludes the examples using the major modes, Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian. And we're going to do the same exact thing using the 3 minor modes. We'll start with the Dorian mode.